Do you know that average salary in a company sometimes can be misleading? And that's why most times analysts often want to use the median instead of the average. So unlike average now, SQL has an inbuilt function to calculate average, but there is no inbuilt function to calculate median, right? Finding average is actually very easy, but the median, that's where things get interesting. So in this video, I'll show you how to calculate the median step by step using the SQL logic, and I'm going to work with simple employee data sets, and also I'll be handling both median for odd and even data sets. So if you are new here, welcome to Data Analyst channel. Kindly subscribe to my channel, check out my previous video, like and share the video. So let's get right in. So these are data sets. First of all, I'm going to create a new query. This new query now, I already have my employee data set already. So let me bring it out. I'm going to select start from employee dataset, which is this. Press on the F5 to run this. Now these are data sets. As you can see here, we have a odd data set, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is an odd number. So basically, working with this odd number will just be basically 5. I mean, the median will be basically 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 5 is the median. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, the fifth value is the middle after the value has been sorted, right? So we'll explore 3 different ways to calculate the median in SQL, starting from the most detailed method to the most optimized one. Firstly, we'll use a step-by-step approach with temporal table, variables, conditional logic to clearly understand how the median works for both odd and even data sets, right? So next, we'll simplify the process using a common table expression, CTE, with window function, which allows us to compute the median in a clear and more compact query. Finally, we'll look at the percentile count function, a built-in analytic function that calculates the median directly with minimal code. Now, basically, what's median? Median is more like the middle value in a sorted data set, right? The middle value in a sorted data set. So we have our employee data set. So the first thing I want to do is to order our salary. So I'm going to select salary. Alright, salary, we have salary here already. Salary, then I want to have a row number. The function called row number. Over. Now I want to be ordered by salary. The row number should have a heading or a title called RON, which is row number, right? That's the title or the heading of that new column I'm creating. Then I will store it into a temporary table into hash 4. I'll call it hash. Let's call it hash 10 from employee data. Now I got my salary. I'm ordering it. I'm creating a row number, ordering it by salary, and giving it a heading row number RON. Right. Then I'm bringing it from the employee data. So let's run this code. Write everything. Let's execute. This code is run. Now basically, I'm going to check in what I have in my hash n10. So let's start from hash 10. That's what we have here. Press F5. Now we'll see that the salaries are ordered from the lowest to the highest and row number assigned. What I did here was that I used Windows function called the row number to assign a new number to each of the rows after sorting. Now we are doing that so that we can easily get our median, right? Then I stored it in a temporal table so that we can easily work with it later. That we will not alter our already existing employee data table. Now there are 2 possible scenarios. First of all, the case 1 is when you have an odd number of record, like we have here. When you have an odd number of record, and when you have an even number of record. Now, for example, if you have data sets of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Let me comment this out. For something like this now, this is already ordered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could see that 3 is our median. We could actually point that out. 3 is the median, right? Because we have 3 is median because it is the middle of the 65. What if they have an even number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? So what is the median here? As we know, the median here will be these two added together, so it will be 3 plus 4 all divided by 2, which will be equal to 3.5. So with this logic now, we're going to calculate the median value for even number and odd number record of value, right, in our data sets. So first thing I want to do, I want to declare a variable. I'll declare a variable. Let's declare a variable. I'll declare probably a at m. It's an int, right? It's an int at n. It's an int also. I'll explain at p. There's an int also, right? We have declared this variable. The next thing I want to do, now this variable I've created, I'll use the at m as the total number of rows, right? Let me comment that out loud. Easily, at m is total number of rows. At n is the remainder to check if odd or even. At p is the middle position. Now, using this logic, at m is the total number of rows. We're going to count how many rows the table has. Now, if I count how many rows the table has, we'll now divide it by 2. If we have a remainder, this will be the checker. If we have a remainder, that means it is an odd number. But if the remainder is 0, that means it is an even number. So if it's 0, that means we're going to work in calculating the based on even number. But if the remainder is 1, that means it's an odd number. Then this is the middle position. So first of all, I'm going to set my at m. So in setting it, I'm going to say equal to. I want to select the max. Select the max row number. Right? Now we have a row number. What is the max? That would like basically give us the highest number. Select max row number from #10. So I'm going to set at n, which is equal to that at n, which is the number of rows, divisible. I'm using the divisible symbol. That's the modulus symbol divided by 2. So it will return the remainder. Let me do return the remainder. So I'm going to set at p equal to at m divided by 2, make it a small letter m. This returns the integral value without a remainder. Now, basically, you have to know that if this returns 1, that means it's an odd number of record. If it returns 0, an even number of record. So now, the next thing I'm going to do is to start creating my logic. So, working with odd record, I'm going to check if. So basically, I'm checking if my at n, which is my remainder, is equal to 0. Then I will have in my if function, I have to have a begin and an end. So in between this, my code be inside of here. So I want to select average salary. I'll call it the median salary, right? From #10 where the row number in hash now p and hash p plus 1. Now what did I do here? What's hash p? Hash p is the integral value. So basically, now this is odd record. I'm going to have two if functions. Now let me do the second one, then I'll explain. I'm just going to copy this and paste. Right? Now let's remember that this is even record check. Right? Now this will be the odd record check. So this is if it's not equal to. So basically this is an odd record. What we just do is average salary as the minimum salary. We'll just return the salary. Right? The row number is at p plus 1. So instead of using in, constantly use equal to. Now we have to check it. Let me drive this down. Now let's explain this. For the odd record, basically we have an odd record data set, as you can see, right? Or you've been working with a data set that you probably don't know. While you're writing your code, you don't know how long, or if you're working with an odd or even, or you want to write a query that would surface either you're working with the odd record or the even record, right? So this I'm checking now. If a reminder after dividing is equal to 0, like I said, means that there is no reminder and it's an even record, I will have an average salary. Average salary basically means I'm getting the salary where the row number is. For 9 now, so if it's an even number, probably 8, okay, you get for 4 and 5. An average is more like adding this and this divided by 2, right? That's what we have here, and that's what I showed you here, basically. Then, but if the remainder is not equal to 0, which is an odd record check, I'll just return the salary. I'll rename it as median salary, where the number is at p plus 1. Like basically, now this is an odd number, 1 to 9. If we divide 9 divided by 2, we'll have a 4. That's the integer. But our median is 5, so that's why I did 4 plus 1 is 5. So basically, if we should run this code from here to the end, check it out from here to the end. If you execute, now we'll see our 60,000 as the median salary. So basically, that means this is the code that runs. This code is the code that runs because it checks it. Now let's run so let's start from 10. Let's check it out. 60,000 is our median. So now when we run it out also again, we'll see that we are actually correct. Now this working with an even record. Now let's work on even record. An even record, I'm going to drop a column. Now let's return all of this and see. Now I'm going to delete one record. So basically what I could do, I could select star into probably asterisk 11 from employee data. So let's run this code. Let's see. This code is run, right? So I started it in as 11. So let's see what as 11 shows. So let's start from hash 11. That's a temporary table. Good. So we have our same data set. Now I'm going to delete one record so that we'll have 8 records out of 9. I'm going to delete delete from hash 11 where employee ID is equal to 10. When I run this code now, code is completed. Now if I should run this now, you see that we now have an even number, right? We now have an even number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So how do I go about this now? So the same principle. I'm going to select salary, right? Then create a row number. That row number, I want to order it over, then I'll order it by salary, right? And the headings will be called row number, row n. Then I'll store it into hash, probably hash 12 from hash 11. Now if we should run this code, our code is running. So if we should get our select star from hash 12, we will see that we have 1 to 8, right? So same principle. I'm going to declare variables. Just going to run through it. Declare at, let's use at w as an int, at y as an int, at z as an int, right? Just the same principle I could have here. The number of rows, reminder, and middle position. After declaring this, I'm going to need to set my values. So I've set my at w. So to get the max, remember I need to put in the bracket the max row number from hash 12. Then I'll set my at y. That's my reminder. That's at w percentage 2. This returns the reminder. So remember, it's either 1 or 0. So at z, this is also the integral value. So after having this, we're going to find our if function to calculate at y. I'm going to check at y now. If at y is equal to 0, right? Now this is an even record. Check, right? Now we have the begin and the end. So instead of this, I'm going to write my code. I'm going to select. So if I have odd record, I'm going to select the average salary. It's basically the same thing from what we have above. Median salary as our heading. So let's come down from hash 12, right? Now here row number. That heading row number is in at z, and at z plus 1. Basically this check for even. So also we're going to also check for the odd. If at y is not equal to 0, this is an odd record check, right? So we have to begin end. Now I'm going to select salary, right? So salary from hash 12, where row number is equal to at z plus 1. Now let's run this second code, declaring. So I'm going to do the end and let's see. So basically, now let's run this code and see. Basically, what he did, he picked, we have 8 records. He picked 4 and 5, added these two values, and divided them by 2. That's how we arrived at what we arrived there. Now, I've showed you two methods of calculating median for odd record and even record. Now, let's do a more stricter approach, a more straightforward approach, a more complex approach using the window function. Now, for this, I'll just, for the method 2 now, the same principle. First of all, let's be sure that we're working with the employee data. Just to be sure that this data is correct. It hasn't been tampered with. Good. Okay, the method 2 like this. So the next thing I want to do is to use my row number to assign row number to the salary, right? So I'm going to get our salary, right? Then row number over, so I want to order by salary. So now this is the arrow end. Then also, so let's bring it to the next line. So also I want to count rows over as total rows from employee data. Now let's run this code and see. Good. You can see total rows now is letting us know how many rows we have in data sets, and it's quite important. So after this is the first step. So with this now, I want to store this inside a variable, like with using the CTE. So I'll set with ordered salary as with ordered salary as I want to select the average salary. I'll call it the median salary from ordered salaries, where the row number in checking for total rows plus 1 divided by 2, total rows plus 2 divided by 2. This query, first of all, we ordered our salary here into row numbers and we generated our total rows. Using that information, we identify the middle rows for the odd data sets or the 2 middle rows for the even data sets. And finally, we take the average of those values to produce the median. Now what we have here is basically total rows. Now the total rows is 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So this gives me 5. Total rows there we have is 9 plus 1, 10 divided by 2 is 5, right? Then 9 plus 2, which is 11, divided by 2 will also give us 5 based on the integral quotient, right? So now get the average of 5 and 5, so give us 5. But if we have an even number, probably we have an even number of probably 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. So let's return. So 8 plus 1 is 9 divided by 2, which is equal to 4. Here we have 8 plus 2, which is 10 divided by 2, which is 5. So the adding these 2 and dividing by 2 gives us the 4.5 as the middle, right? So why this one is very powerful is that it handles both the odd and even data set automatically. Then it uses one single query. Now let's run this code. Let's see. If you run everything, bam, we have our 60,000 median salary. Now what if we are working with, I think we already have a level record which is as 12, which is 8. Now let's use as 12 from here. Hash 12. Let's see what we'll have. So all the things we did here, we just simplify them in one query using the CTE, one query, right? As you can see, now we're using the employee data itself. Run this again to see. Now the reason why this is good is because right here, there is no temporal table, there is no variables, just one query, and it works for both even number of records and odd number of records. So, and the average naturally handles both cases. So this is a very production ready and interview friendly approach. Now, if your database supports probably recent databases, probably Postgres, Oracle, SQL Server 22, upward. Now, there's a function called percentile count that actually calculates median. Now, let's see how it works. So, using percentile count. Now, all I will do is very straight code, forward code. Percentile, select percentile count 0.5. 0.5 is more like the middle. Now, note that this is for recent updates from SQL servers within group, right? So I'm going to order my salary. Over median salary from employee data. Now let's run this code and see. Now we'll see that it gives us the median salary. Now if I will work with hash 12, gives us now one way to return just one of the values, and then let's use distance. Trial distance. See. Good. So we're able to return the median. So this is the very faster approach. So in this tutorial now we're able to show you 3 methods of calculating median from the hardest, the longest to the shortest, right? So when people think about SQL analysis, the first thing they think about is probably the average, the minimum, the maximum. But those are important. But here's the problem: where those numbers lies. And average can be pulled up by just a very high salary, but median shows us where most people sit. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, kindly drop your like, drop a comment on anything you're not clear about, and I'll drop the employee data sets in the comment section so you can follow along. Thank you very much.